Hello, this is your girl, Crystal Lauren, the Dream Alchemist, and I help people transform their dreams into reality. On In this video, I want to talk to you about ancestor connection and understanding their guidance. A lot of people there's a lot of YouTube videos out there about connecting with your ancestors, how to do it, how to set up an altar, all of that. So my video is going to delve into about how to connect with them, but also understanding their guidance. And um, my journeys with my ancestor, connecting with them, started when my grandmother died, and that was in June of 2017. My grandmother died. And when she died, I was very close to my grandmother. My grandmother was close to all her grandchildren. This is on my father's side. My grandmother on my mother's side had been passed away a long time ago, so she never visited me in my dreams or anything like that. I didn't catch the ancestor connection calling at that time. But I know that my grandmother on my father's side definitely, when she passed away, called me to connect and also to do some other things, and made it clear that I knew that I had gifts and powers that I should be using for the benefit of our lineage and for others as well. So my spiritual journey really started prior to her death. It was, I was doing all kind of other things, meditating and what else? Listening to Abraham Hicks and reading about law of attraction and things of that sort. But it wasn't until she passed away that I felt the pull, the calling, even to do some. Still, there was something else that I should be doing. So the first dream I had, this is connecting with your ancestors. This is sometimes you may not seek out your ancestor, but your ancestor might seek you. And in my situation, mine sought me out. Not just one of them, more than one. So that's how you know that, hey, you better pay attention when this happens. So with me being a person that dreamed, they knew that's how to get to me. So my first dream of my grandmother after she passed, I can't remember how long it was, but it was only a few months, if that. She, I was on the block. I'm from Chicago. I live in, we were living in California when she passed away. That's where she passed away at. Her, well, just put it this way. You know what? Let me think about something. No, yeah, it was after she died. So after she died, this is when I got the call. All right. She came to me in my dream. I dreamt that I was on the block that we grew up on. Anybody watching us from Chicago, she lived in the Inglewood, or she had a home in the Inglewood area before moving to California after she got older. All her children had, my uncles and my dad, they had all moved to California. And so that's how we ended up in California. So the block that we lived on was that she lived on, the house that was hers, on this block, which was 60th and Aberdeen, just in case anybody from Chicago is watching this. There are my parents, my dad, my uncle, my my great grandparents, um, my grandfather. I mean, they basically had this block sold up where owned they lived in like four they owned two of the properties. Okay. And then somebody in my family lived in, like my parents lived in one of them. My dad lived in one of them, grew up in one. My uncle lived in one. I lived in one. One of my uncles died in one of them. Um, Another house, another building, a red building. Family members lived in one. My great grandmother lived in one. My great grandmother lived in the house next door to my grandmother's house. This block was a block that my ancestors like trampled, up and down, drove up and down a lot. My grandmother's sisters come over for Sunday dinner. I mean, this is a block that is very much so um, a part of my family. So I was like standing like around the corner, like on the side, around the corner from the house. It was an area where this guy that used to work on her car used to fix cars, you know. And I was standing there, and from there I could see her door. It was like her screen door was like opening and closing, opening and closing. Now, in my dream, I knew she was gone. She passed away. So I'm looking at the house like, what is going on over there at grandmother's house? And opening, closing, the door was like, it was telling me to come here. Like wind was blowing the door open and close. So I walked over to the house. I walked into the house, and inside the house was my grandmother. And I had two dreams like this, so I don't want to get them confused. And I came into the house, and I sat on the couch, and in the dream, she leaned over me and spewed water out of her mouth on me. Okay, that was the first dream. And then I had another dream where me and my cousins were all in this house, the same house, just being there like we used to be when we were younger. And she was cooking Sunday dinner, and nobody else could see her but me. I'm sitting there like seeing her, and she's like standing there looking at me like, yeah, that's me, I'm here. But I'm looking around at my cousins like, y'all don't see grandma? and and I'm like, hey grandma, what you doing here, hey. And she was just looking at me like, everything is all right, you don't be afraid, everything is good. So that was dream number 2 of her. The next dream of her was, um, I know gonna miss one, but the other dream that I know that really just made me think. Now, at this point, I've set up an altar for her, and with her, I have like a heart with her ash. Set that up, and I didn't do the altar thing because I didn't know nothing about that at that time. I just created a space for her. And then the next dream was the same house. A whole bunch of people was in this house. She was coming out of the house. I'm watching her come down the stairs, and I'm helping her down the stairs. And all these people are like, they went through the house, like they went in there to check, like they wanted to buy it, like it was up for sale, and everybody was looking. And my grandmother like went in, like she was like seeing the home being getting ready to be auctioned off. So people, the guy started running the number, like auctioning it. And people, she come down the stairs. Help her downstairs. She stand beside me. Now she's not talking to me. and everything. And she's standing there. I can see clear as day what she got on. And she's standing there and she's watching her house like being auctioned off. Like, she wasn't like sad or anything. She was just like, okay, this has to be done. So I'm like, the heck? What is going on here? So that was dream number, which one? 3? Number 3. All right. So that's dream number 3, guys. And that is your answer. That is a dream that told me that my grandmother is trying to tell me something. She's just visiting me and just letting me know she's here with me and all of that. At this point, this is what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking about, okay, you need to do some ancestor work or none of that. So then the other dream was that I had of her. Uh, Let me think. Yeah, I think this happened because there was another dream about, that I want to make sure it goes in the right place, but you guys are going to get my drift on this regardless. So the other dream I had of her was, now my grandmother's sister, one of her sisters had passed away, just passed away probably some months prior to this. And my grandmother was sweeping the porch of the other house that was across the street that my dad lived in when he was young. My uncle lived in. He lived in it with my aunt and my cousins when they were young. They lived in this house. My uncle lived in this house. He passed away in this house. I lived in this house. My parents lived in this house. My my grandmother's brother owned the house at, when it was just the house that was hers. Okay. And again, she had once owned this property. My grandfather owned both of these properties. The house that I kept being called to, and the other house in this dream. My grandfather owned them. When my grandfather died, my grandmother inherited these properties. So she sold one house to her brother. That's the one that my uncle died in. The other house, the one that she kept calling me to, was the house that she owned, and she sold it when she moved to California. Now, the dream was I'm walking down the street with some some friends of mine, their uncles, and I'm talking to them about, yeah, we lived in this house, and that's my grandmother right there. My grandmother was on the porch, sweeping the porch. Okay, and then I'm walking and I'm talking to my friends, and I'm like, yeah, this house too is the red brick building that was directly across the street from the house that my grandmother called me to come to. I think my great grandmother lived in this house, this building before. Yeah, it was my great grandmother. Sitting on the porch of this house was my grandmother's sister. And she was in yellow, a yellow dress, sitting on the porch. She sees me walking down the street. I see her, and she's like, come here, come here. She's not saying anything, but she's calling me like, come on, come on. And I'm seeing her like excited to see her. I know she's passed away. I know that she's not alive. I know she's passed away. She's not here. So this is her spirit talking to me. But I'm kind of like scared to come to her because I don't know if it's a real spirit. It's her real spirit. If it's somebody that's trying to play tricks on me. So I kind of, not wanting to hurt her feelings, just reach out my hand to accept her. Okay. That was dream, what, 4? All right. So another ancestor that passed away that called me. So the next dream that I had was of my aunt. This is my uncle's. This is my grandmother's daughter-in-law. She passed away in 2011. And yeah, 2011, 2012. And she passed away, and I had a dream of her. Now, mind you, I never had a dream with her before my grandmother died or any of this. When I had this dream, I happened to be staying in the house, living in the house that she passed away in. And she came into the room that I was sitting in, that I was in my dream. She came into the room, walked into this room that I was at, and that was my room. And she came in, and I'm looking at her, excited, like, oh no, like she was smiling at me, like she was happy to see me, and I'm smiling at her, like, Auntie Cecilia, you know. And but her look on her face, I can remember exactly what she had on, how her hair was done. That's how vivid my dreams are. She walked in, and behind her in a silhouette was my uncle, her husband, my dad's brother. Okay. And she comes in and she sits down next to me, actually on the same seat that I'm sitting on right now. It's an ottoman. And she sits next. She comes in like, like a kind of like a happy smile, like, I'm coming to see you, but it's not good, honey. And she sat down next to me, like, it wasn't like she'd sit down next to me like, hey girl, how you doing? And my auntie was that, type of lady, like dance party, hey, what you doing? She's that type of energy. Her energy was not there. Okay. Her energy was more like, right, I'm here for something, but you know, hey, it was that kind of look. And like I said, she's sitting next to me in a silhouette behind her. I still can't see my uncle's full visibility. My dreams, I can always see most people clearly that I'm meant to see clearly. But him, I could see a silhouette. And he was standing there, like he normally stands behind. He came in behind her, and he didn't follow her next to me. He stood back. And I woke up out of that dream, and I'm like, so I told my cousins about the dream, and I'm like, and they like, oh wow, really? And so I'm like, why am I having these dreams? Now, mind you, I had already had all the dreams about my grandmother and my aunt, my great aunt. Now, I forgot to tell you, probably less than a month after I had the dream of my grandmother sweeping the porch and her other sister calling me, their other sister passed away. She was the eldest sister of them all, and she had passed away shortly thereafter that dream. And so I'm like, wow, you know. So after the dream of my aunt um, coming to visit me, I'm like wondering, like, what the heck is going on? Why am I having these dreams? Guys, I gotta drink my soda. Before it ice waters it down. So I'm like, why am I having these dreams? So I'm Googling, I'm at work, I'm Googling it, like wondering, like, why am I having these dreams of people that passed away? And as I'm reading a part of it, I can't remember exactly what it said that I was reading, but as I was reading it, I think part of it was saying that they want you to know that they're with you. And I was at work, my calculator like made a noise, like somebody touched a key. And I turn around and look where my calculator was, and I'm like looking to see if like something fell off the bulletin board, a thumbtack fell, a piece of paper fell, something fell on it. I'm looking to see if something fell on it and hit a key. Nothing fell on it. And I'm like, okay, what was that? So I go home, I tell my cousins about it. This was right after the dream I had about her. I didn't told her them about their dream. And then that's when my cousin was like, yeah, Mama, she worked with them calculators. That's what she used to do. She used to work with calculators. That was her job. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, she worked with them calculators. So I'm like, okay. Now, still not thinking at the time. At this time, it didn't really kind of, when I had the dream of my aunt, it really didn't down on me. I was just so excited to see her that I really kind of brushed off the look that she had in her face. I noticed it, but I really didn't like tune into it like something was gonna. I'm like, ooh, why is she looking like that? That wasn't my initial feeling. But shortly thereafter, my cousin died. My uncle's youngest son, their youngest son. Okay, um, he died. He just dropped dead. He was young too, like 30 something years old, 37. So I'm like, oh my God, was this dream about him? Was this dream about him? And I'm like, oh my God. And from then, shortly thereafter that, I'm gonna say 5 months later, my uncle died. The husband that she came to get, the husband that she was with in the dream, 5 months later, 5 months after their son died, my uncle died. 5 months after him. So sometimes connecting with your ancestors can happen when you are not seeking to connect with them. I was not seeking to connect with them. But, and the other thing, when my uncle died in this same house that my aunt died and my grandmother died, um, when he died, I was on my way to work. Actually, I was supposed to already be gone to work when my cousin found him passed away. Um, I was already, that was the week where I would worked late. Normally, I would have already been gone already. So when my cousin hollered out and called me, when I went in there, he was already gone. But 911 still told me to do the CPR on him until the ambulance came. Okay, so I know that I was getting called. I know that it's been made clear to me that I've been chosen for something. Okay, that look, no, you're the connection, and you're gonna listen. You're gonna listen to us. We're gonna make sure you listen to us. Come heed to the call. We've gave you all the signs there is to give you heed to the call. Now, mind you, I'm on my spiritual journey and start getting into readings and things of that sort. Start getting tarot readings, and the tarot readings that I got, they always bring up my ancestors in my readings. Like your ancestors got your back. Your ancestors, your ancestors, they got you. Well, your ancestors want you. Your ancestors want you to connect with them, because I would, maybe wasn't, into it, like setting up the altar the way I should, or really talking to them the way I should, or really diving deep in it. When my ancestors want to get with me, they make it clear. They make it clear. And it is for a purpose. They like, girl, you need some help with some stuff, or we need you to do some stuff. All right. And it could be anything from um, learning more about our lineage. It could be anything that they want you to know, that you need to know about yourself, that need to get right, that you need to make right for the family. It's something, okay? So even if you don't get, if you they don't seek you out, but you seek them out and they call you to do something, once you start, you know, connecting with them, you have to really stay on top of it. You have to listen. You have to follow their guidance. And the way that I follow their guidance is um, through I do my own reading. So I intuitively, I did not know that I knew how to read tarots myself. Like intuitively, I can like pull the cards on myself and say, wait a minute, what? This is what you're saying. And then my dreams tell me so much. My dreams, now I haven't had any more visits because, oh, my grandmother did show up again. She showed up again probably a few weeks ago. She just kind of, I seen her standing somewhere and she like ran away. Okay, like she won't be like she was just standing there, and was like I looked at her and she like ran away, like I'm out. I see you see me. I mean, I don't know what that was about, but she bumped out, bumped out. That's an old school word, but she left. So I started doing my readings on myself, and I started getting led to in between all this, I started getting led into reading books about orishas, into hoodoo, into herbs. I started dabbling with the candles, doing candle magic rituals. I started delving more into it. It was like I was being pulled in that direction, like reading about it. And then I started doing it, and then I stopped with the herbs. I really, different things. It's like, I don't know if this stuff is really working for me. I mean, some of it was working, but some stuff did work, but it didn't. I'm like, I don't know if if this what I'm supposed to be doing. This was the doubt in my mind. So, um, since then, again, I've been, um, this is the last thing that happened. Now I have an altar. I've set up an altar where I'm at now. Actually, when my uncle died, him and my dad lived together, and so my dad, where they were staying, he couldn't pay that rent by himself, so I moved in to help my dad. And the room I sleep in is the room that my uncle. This was his room. So I have my altar set up for all of my ancestors now, not well the ones that I know that I had close relationships with. So I started just really, really, really giving my ancestors coffee every morning, water, feeding them, talking to them, just really, diving more deep, getting a more deeper connection with them. And the more you do that, the more they're going to really just give you the answers that you need. And if you dream, you need to pay attention to your dreams. I can interpret my dreams now like naturally. I used to I mean, I've been dreaming so much. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and go on my phone like, what this dream mean? What this mean? What this mean? I used to do that, but now I've I work with crystals. That's the other thing I started getting into. Um, I can work with my chakras, all of that. I've been elevating spiritually more and more. Synchronicities is another thing that I see. I get synchronicities every day. So I know that this I'm meant to do something with, and I'm getting the guidance. I know that they want me to hear them. They have something to say and they have something for me to do. So let me just tell you guys, because this video, it can be long because I'm just really want you guys to get the understanding of this, how deep this can go. Um, so I work with, so I pull cards on me and I talk to them to give me answers like, what you guys got to say and what's this. And so my dreams, I had a reading recently. I think it was uh, during the full moon, Libra full moon. Um, I got a reading from a young lady that does them, and so she told me to like your ancestors want you to connect with them. Now, mind you, I had kind of like I know I was already working with my ancestors, but she was like, so I knew like, okay, they want me to dig deeper. They really want me to do something that I'm not doing. That's guidance, understanding the guidance. They want me to do something that I must not be doing, and I must not be listening to them enough. I must not be communicating with them enough because, again, ancestors want you to get with them. So, and then she said, you dreaming. You be dreaming. How she know? I don't know. You be dreaming. You need to write down your dreams because you be dreaming. And then she said, be working with your divine conscious, which is what I was doing. Everything she said was true. So I knew it was like. Then she starts talking into my. She said, I hear something to do with shamanism. I hear some beats, African, some type of another cultural beats, and I'm like, okay, what is this? So that guided me to look into. They must want me to know something about my lineage. They must want me to know something, whether it's shamanism, something that had to do with my soul purpose, what I should be doing. I already knew that from my life path number, destiny number, and all of that, and the readings I've done in myself, that I'm supposed to lead people, and then I'm a light, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm a healer, spiritual teacher. That's what I'm supposed to be. That's been told to me as well. But I'm like, I don't know, teaching them what? So, um, so I had that reading, and I'm like, okay, so what y'all? Right away, I jumped on it right away. When you hear them call you, you better go. So I meditate. I do guided meditations to journey to them and ask questions. And I did that. And after I did that, I came back and I pulled cards on me so I can get confirmation on the dreams. So when I dream, so I can get confirmation, period. So before I go to sleep now, I ask questions like that I can get an answer out of the dream. You can do that. If there are some answers you want from your ancestors or your spirit guides or whoever, God, ask the questions and tell them to tell you in your dream. And I'm going to tell you, they will answer. So I pulled the cards on myself after doing the guided meditation. And when I did the guided meditation, it was like a long line of ancestors, like a long, like a gang of ancestors in line to show themselves to me. So when I finished meditating, I pulled the cards on myself to do a reading on myself. And I think it was 12. It was 12 ancestors that had a message for me. So each of them gave me something that I need to work on or do or whatever. So I do that with the tarot cards, and then I do oracle cards to say, okay, what do I need to do to help me achieve this? And then they give me the answer on what to do. Um, Based on the cards I pull, I can kind of see the personality of the ancestor that is speaking to me from the card I pull. And they be correct. The things that they tell me to work on, they are correct because they is helping me work on my shadow side. And if you're prepared to fix that, then you call on them to help you with that, and they will. And you can do that through the guided meditations and go there and ask some questions, get cards pulled on you so you can get the answers, or go to your dreams and get the answers. So after I did that, before I went to sleep, I pulled the cards on me and broke down everything each one of the ancestors had to say to me. I went to sleep and asked them, hey, because one of the ancestors was like, your focus needs to be money, love, balancing yourself, um, and family. Don't dive into your lineage. It was like, you need to learn more about our lineage, our culture, and all of that. And I'm like, okay. And which is something I've been wanting to do anyway. Myself, I am that person in the family, which this is kind of why I know why I've been kind of chosen, because I'm that person in the family that is that there for everybody when people, family members have died. I'm there to, I'm like that ride or die chick type of person. I'm like, hey, I'm that Johnny on the spot girl. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be your support. I'm gonna help your deceased loved one. If I'm very close to you and I'm close to them, I'm going to help them in any way I can. That's me. I'm that person that, you know, with all the family members. I'm a very family oriented person. Okay. And I'm sure my family knows this about me. So this would be a good reason. I'm not the only family oriented, but I'm like one of the main ones. Very family oriented. And so I'm that person. So I'm that person that will want to know, like, where we come from, that will go and find out where we come from, who we like, all the way back. I want to know. That's something that's always been on my mind. So now I'm being pushed to kind of learn where it is, where we come from, learn our history, lineage, all of that. So in my dream, before I went to sleep, I asked, okay, you guys tell me, can be, and I didn't know. Right now, I don't want to pay for a DNA, one of those African ancestry tests or DNA. Don't want to do that right now. I don't know if I can trust it or not either. But um, but I asked, so I said, well, you know what? I can't get the test right now, y'all. Y'all know I'm getting ready to have to move. My money, I need it, and can y'all give me the answer? So in my dream, I went to sleep, and let me tell you, let me show you how they will answer you in your dreams. So I dreamt, and I know it was related to my questions, because my questions that I asked is, Tell me about our culture. Tell me what you want me to do. Like, give me answers on what gifts I have. What am I supposed to be doing? What is it y'all are calling me for? What is it where we come from? Can you tell me? So I go to sleep and I dream to show you how funny they can be. Is that I went to sleep and I dreamt I was walking down the street of the block that me and my sister and my little brother grew up on in Chicago. This was with my parents when I was young, from 5 years old all the way till um, we moved to California when I was 14. No, 16. I'm sorry. And I'm walking down this block, and it's a block from where I come from. Again, I'm walking down the block on a block from where I come from. That was one symbol. Walking down, but I'm looking for a lost child. I'm not looking for myself, but I'm looking for a lost child in this dream on the block that I came from. I walk up on a lady sitting in the middle of the sidewalk, grooming someone, grooming a child. Okay, so the other symbol is grooming, right? I walk upon a woman grooming. So that was where I come from, where grooming took place. Grooming was taking place at this time. Grooming is taking place. But she was sitting in front of a house that was torn down to rubble. And in the rubble, it was like it was something underneath the rubble that looked like it might have been the child, but it was not the child. It was someone else buried within the rubble. Buried. See, these words, when you see the dream, when I initially have the dream, I'm like looking in the dream like, okay, what is this? But it takes me a moment to kind of come up with the words like, okay, the dream is where I come from. Grooming is taking place, buried in the rubble. Where the missing child comes from, I don't know yet. Missing, um, missing childhood, missing, I don't know if it's missing, lost, one of those words. That one is still a miss to me, which I'm sure I'll get confirmation on. So from there, the scene of my dreams, I'm on this same block. I'm walking further down, and as I'm walking in the direction of I'm standing close by where this house was torn down and into rubble. The woman is grooming a child. I hear the voice of someone in a house that's like a few doors down, and it's familiar because I remember the block. Now I know I don't live on this block anymore. I'm like in this dream knowing I don't live on this block and that I'm here on this block. And then I'm like, hear a voice out of another house. And to me, it's like, this is familiar to me. Familiar, I'm like, family, familiar. All these symbols incorporates them trying to tell me about where I came from. Grooming took place. This is where the grooming started. All of this is letting me know that, okay, they're trying to answer my question. So let me just go show you how 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 much more they had to say. Okay, so I'm walking, and next thing you know, the scene changes to I'm walking across this street that's on the corner of the same block that I grew up on, a street that I've crossed many times to go to school. Um, it's me, two of my coworkers, it's another young lady that I went to school with, and we all have on similar genes. And that is pointed out in the dream. The dream is like, oh, we got on the, we almost got on the same genes, but yours is one person had on their colors and their genes were they were like bleachy like spots. It was like fake, one had on darker, one had on lighter, and the one of the ladies that's in my dream that me and hers was similar, was light, had light bleach spots in it, and the other ladies they had dark. It was like it was being pointed out. Oh, your jeans is like hers, and your jeans is like that. Jeans. That was another symbol. Jeans. Similar genes. Okay, so that told me that they were trying to tell me I had similar genes to these people. I had similar genes. Not, do you get it? That's how you break down a dream. That was the answer to my question I asked them. Okay, similar genes. Now, one of the young ladies was Filipino. The other lady, two other ladies were black. One was a dark, I don't know where they came from, but all I know is one was Filipino and the others were black, and we had similar genes. So I'm like, what? We had similar genes. Like, really? So, again, it's not telling me exactly where I come from, but it's telling me something. I have similar genes to these women. Okay? Filipino, similar. I mean, it's not telling me I am Filipino, but it's saying I'm similar. So, from there, you kind of get from there with the guidance. The next step is to kind of get clarity on what to do next. What do you want me to do with this information? That is my next question to them. What do you want me to do with the information from this previous dream that I have? Now, I can get that answer by pulling the cards. I can get that answer by asking them in a dream. Those are the ways that I communicate with my ancestors and get guidance. So that is my story. That is how I connect with my ancestors. That is how I get guidance from my ancestors. And yeah, so I really encourage you to really pay attention to, really pay attention to your dreams. They tell you a lot. They tell you where your fears are. They tell you what you need to work on. Um, with me being a dreamer for so long, I'm pretty good at interpreting. Like, hey, you need to deal with some stuff, and this is what you need to deal with, and you jump right on it and work on it, and you ask them for their guidance to help you get it done, and they'll tell you which way to get it done. As far as the gifts that they told me that I need to work on is involving hoodoo, conjuring, with working with the herbs and creating. Again, they're telling me to, start creating what you want. You this close to it. They give me the synchronicities. You're like this close. You need to get to creating, get to making. Because again, because I came from a Christian background, even my grandmother is, she was a church woman, Christian, singing in the kitchen, church songs, church hymns, going to church. And so it's kind of was far fetched to believe that she would be, you know, okay with this. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you my thoughts on that. Um, you don't know, your ancestors do. You don't know now what your ancestors know now. Your ancestors, how you know them here on earth, what they knew is what they learned from their parents. Okay, And what our parents learned, especially if you're black, learned from what they learned on a plantation. Okay? And what you learned on a plantation, you learned from an parent or elder or whatever, from them. And who did they learn from? The master, right? So you really got to really not be surprised if an answer switches up on you when it comes to stuff like this, because they just as lost. They lost. They were lost. Now they are in the realm of the, especially if they didn't heed the call, they didn't listen to their ancestors, they didn't pick up on any of this, or they didn't, if they did, they kept it a secret because that's what we were told to do until they came into the spiritual realm, and then they were told, like, hey, no, I still believe in God. I still believe in Jesus Christ. I believe all of those things, but no, everything wasn't told the truth on. They didn't tell us the truth about everything. And this is what you didn't learn. This is what you missed out on because you didn't know your people from way back. Now you know them. Now we're going to hip you to some things. And now you're going to hip who you can reach. You can hip them to the game so they can hip our lineage to the game. Okay? That, for anybody that's a Christian, believe in Jesus Christ, that's just saying that this is witchcraft, this is evil, this is wrong. You learned something originally came from a mic master. Unless you, more than likely, if you do believe in all of this, don't you know they practice? How do you think they got through in slavery days? You think they just went by that Bible? Do you think that some of the Bible was changed up, that stuff was put in there to prevent us from using our gifts, our magic? To come on now, come on, okay? There's people, especially Christians, they are the heaviest ones on the, God bless them. They're the main ones that criticize and judge. And who told you to do that? The master, because that's what they did to us. So why do you think that is a religion that is so heavy on you going up against your own people? Making them feel all kind of sorts of way. Why do you think that is the case? So that's why I think it's very important for you to connect with your ancestors so you can get the truth, because they will lead you to the truth. They not telling you to throw away your Bible by all means. Absolutely not. They not telling you to throw away your Jesus. They not telling you to throw away whoever it is that you represent, but they want you to have an open mind. They want you to open your third eye and see with this eye versus these eyes, because these eyes is what can mislead you. This one goes deeper, sees beyond. All right. This one sees beyond. This one sees, let you see what they want to share with you. These won't. Okay? So I know that you should connect with your ancestors and get a understanding of their guidance for your lineage, for your purpose. All right? Everybody want money. They can tell you how to get it. Could tell you something you may not be accepting of yourself. You may have um, be hiding or covering up and not dealing with. They can tell you um, many things if you want to know the answer, and I hope you do. You know, so that's it. This is this me doing this video. They had to work me up to this because I knew I was supposed to be doing something on this channel. I started off with the life path numbers, and they just was, I think that's when they was like, no, come here, have a conversation with you right here. No, 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 that's not it. No, sister, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So that's where they can, oh, let me tell you about this other dream I had. So now I know that this is why I know that Jesus can still be in this, because I'm going to tell you about this other dream I had. The dream I had was about, it was a friend of mine, a girl I grew up with. Her, you know, her and her sister, we were like grew up like sisters, and they had kids. They had several kids. They were Muslim, and we were very close to them, me and my sister. And in the dream, it was her and her kids when they were young. They're all grown now, and this dude in the dream was their father, but he had always been around. It was in the dream. It was their father that had always been around, and he was coming to tell them, I am your father. And they were like, what? You are father? Like, really? You've been around all this time and we didn't know you are our father? And the mother, which was my friend, was like, I didn't want to tell him because I was mad. I was resentful. Didn't like that you did not want to marry me, so I didn't tell them you were there. I didn't want them to know that you were their father because you did not do what I wanted you to do. Okay. So the dream, during the time when I had this dream, again, I interpreted it to say, this is when I'm, having my conversations with the ancestors, my spirit guides, God, Jesus. And it was him saying, him coming to tell me. I had been seeing the synchronicities, 333 and 111 and all of that. So him coming to tell me, I am your father. He's coming to tell his children, I am your father. I have always been with you. Okay. So I'm like, okay, you with me? Thank you, Father. I guess the person that was my friend was like my shadow self. It wasn't her, it was me and my shadow. Maybe, at times I have felt like God was not here with me. At times I felt like he wasn't, okay, for many different reasons. My mother, she schizophrenic. I've been through a lot for many, many years, over 20 years. 20, let me see, I'm 50, probably 30 years, I'm sorry, through her journey of schizophrenia, dealing with that and just feeling like, God, you can't be here. You can't be here, Jesus, letting me go through this, letting my mama go through this, um, suffering, a bunch of it. So I think there was him because I reached another enlightenment level, another level of consciousness where he was able to come to me and say, I am here with you. I am your father and I am here. So it was like in the dream, it was like he was the father just ready to like love all on them. Like, I am here. I always been here. I am y'all father. And they was like, they're like, what? It was like, come here. He has something to tell us. Come on. He has something to tell us. And they were like really listening, like little kids listening, like, what? Huh? You are father. I'm your father. What? You are father? what? And they were so happy to know that this man was their father. And he had been around the whole time. It was like he was there, but it was like he was really letting them know that he was there. Okay, so that I translate into interpreted like that was Father God telling me that He my Father, I am here with you. I ain't going nowhere. I got you. Hugged me. I got you. So the kids was my inner child. My friend was my shadow self. Okay. This man was my father telling me that he's with me. So that was one dream I interpreted. So again, within this same time frame, I'm dreaming, where this is how I know that I was about to go in the wrong direction, how they are guiding me. In my dream, I'm on this road driving, riding, and I'm wanting to go one way, but it looks like I'm like about to go another way, this way, and I should be going this way. So in the dream, I moved over to go the right way, and I almost missed being able to miss my turn, and I'm going the right way. So that was, I think, the same night I had the dream about the father, where I got put on the right path. And my dreams and synchronicities, I use synchronicities and dreams and my readings of my cards to just give me the confirmations of the messages that I'm receiving. And I think I am called to um, do that for other people. I think I'm called to create things that can help people manifest, transform their dreams into reality. And the transformation comes into play because I am creative. I can just kind of intuitively, after knowing what herbs to work with and things of that sort, like intuitively put them together and come up with something to put, do a ritual or something, or work with a candle. It's like it's given to me intuitively. So I almost didn't think that was the way I should go. But then I'm like, okay, am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? I gotta make some money. Am I supposed to be making money with this? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be doing ancestor readings? What am I supposed to be doing with my gift? And so I'm writing, I'm getting clarity, pull some cards on myself again. This happened today, by the way. This video was long. I hope you guys are watching this to the end because this is some good stuff. So I pull cards on myself, and just for clarification on my dreams that I had last night, which was the one about what was it? Oh, the genes and the where I come from. So, and my question was like, okay, so what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? So I pull. I have what you call a herb tarot deck, and the card I pulled right off the bat. My cards, when I pull cards, I don't just pull like off the they have to jump out some kind of way, jump out on the table, jump out backwards, jump. No, usually when they jump on the floor, I don't usually go by that one, but just jump. They jump out, and the card that jump out read that uh, I want to get it. Let me get it. Okay, y'all give me a minute. Okay, let me get this because this is the deck. This is the deck right here. Let me see if y'all can see that. Y'all see that? That's the deck. Okay, so the card. Let me see if I can find it. I think I mixed it back up in here. It was. Did I write it down in the book? But at any rate, the card told me, it kind of gave me the answers to my dream. It did that. And it told me, gave me confirmation on what I kind of already knew, which is I should be working with these herbs and doing rituals and things of that sort with it. I'm thinking maybe my ancestors probably did this at some point. And trying to find the card that I pulled is so I can show you guys. Here it is. It was fire, 5 of air. Let me show you guys the card. It was 5 of air. Can y'all see that? 5 of air. And that is white sage. Okay. These decks help me pull also to know what herbs I should be working with. I'll pick them up later. But the guidebook, the white sage right off the bat, when you working with sage, has to do with, you know, clearing things, clearing up things. Where's my glasses? I'm sorry, guys. I'm like, I knew I was going to need my glasses eventually. Okay, so 5 of air. I'm going to just read it to you guys, what it says in the book, because with this deck, it's different than. And the other thing that happens to me when I pull cards, if I need to go, and if it's a book that I need to go read something, depending on the deck, it takes me right to the page. That's how intuitive I work. So this 5 of air, white sage, told me long-held beliefs may not be rooted in reality. Remember I said, guys, about, you know, your ancestors, when they were here, they probably believed in Jesus and the Bible, every word that it said, that you don't talk to nobody but Jesus. That's it. Not even ancestors. Okay? Remember? Long held beliefs may not be rooted in reality. Refuse to go along with the crowd. Believe the threatened, oppressed ones. Believe the threatened, oppressed ones. Who was the threatened, oppressed ones, guys? Who was it? Who? That's what we should believe, is the threatened, oppressed ones, not the master that taught them that stuff. Okay? Really? Okay, so I'm like, okay. So if I'm thinking about, should I be practicing this voodoo stuff? Like, really? Can I really do that? Do y'all really want to do that? Now, Grandma, really, you? What is the family gonna say? Okay, so let me keep reading. All right, so it says a spiritual crisis challenges long-held beliefs. A spiritual crisis. Okay. Though though your conscience pulls at you, you are reluctant to let go of your opinions. So my conscience is pulling on me like, girl, come on. My conscience is telling me like I should be doing something with this. This is something that's calling me for this. Like something. Okay? And that I'm gonna fight it because of what I was taught not to believe in. You know, even my mother, you know, it's crazy. Not just, my grandmother, but, everybody in our family. And then it says, white sage has become a trendy spiritual tool. It is sacred to many of how can I say that word? Indigenous people, indigenous people of North America whose traditions are widely misused. Development and erosion also threaten the survival of this species. Okay? White sage is teaching you to protect what is holy. It rids the air of toxins, but it's also a valued why I can't talk, y'all. Valued medicinal. Clear the path, listen to others, and make room for healing. Seek a solution that is beneficial to all. Okay, so that just did it for me. Like, okay, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and then it gives you like these crafting things you can do in this book. Familiarize yourself with the origins of your spiritual tools, where the botanicals are grown, and where the practices come from. So it's telling me, oh, it was something else told me about doing some rituals. Yeah, get to know plants local to you for burning and sacred rituals of your own making. Now, if that ain't telling me that I need to do something with this, I don't know what is. Like I said, when your ancestors give you guidance, they give you guidance. The stronger your connection is, the more direct they will be. Okay, because they know you're gonna receive it, and they know you're gonna listen to them. They ain't gonna give it to you passively. Okay, so I'm like, all right. So I was going out to the store. I was going to go look for some herbs at this Botanica. And as I'm driving to the Botanica to just even more on top of it, my son calls me and was like confirming, because we going to brunch on Sunday, to call to confirm that he can go. He'll be available to go. And you're like, oh, I wanted to ask you about the hoodoo stuff. Now, he had actually talked about this before, but a little bit, he had heard about it, and this is like a second or third conversation about it. He like, oh, I wanted to ask you about how did you learn about the hoodoo stuff? Because I told him there's a difference between hoodoo and voodoo and all of that. So I said, well, I saw YouTube videos, and then from there I started reading books. And I said, go on YouTube, look up what's the difference between hoodoo and voodoo first, so you'll know what the difference is. And then if you see other videos you want to watch, go ahead and listen to them. You could start there. And he like, oh, okay, I will. I'm ready to, I'm getting kind of bored. I'm ready to kind of dive into some other stuff. I'm like, okay. So, I don't know, but that to me, that was another thing that's another generation of something. Just imagine, I'm in it, my son, he doesn't, he's 21, doesn't have any kids, so he gets in it, his kid, I don't know what my son, he dates white girls, so I don't know if that's going to happen, but at any rate, it just made me think like, yeah, that's what you should be doing. And from there, that's where you can release and let go and move in confidence into what you're supposed to be doing. So that's definitely it this time, for real. This stuff just be coming up, and I just want to get it all in here. So I know this is a long video. It is what it is, but I hope it was helpful. I will be back with some, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do another video. It's going to be shorter, that will be dive into my process and how it can possibly help you get through some things. Some things that I know that I'm supposed to be diving into for sure is definitely mental illness, because that is so rampant in our community that it's not dealt with properly. And that's something that I have long experience on, and that's what I was told. Like, you got the experience to do this. You got it. You got it. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be diving into mental illness. I'll be diving into, building, transforming into your authentic self, building up your confidence, because I have another whole story on that. And so I thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good night, evening, day, evening, night, wherever you are watching this. Bye-bye.